Well, guys, it's rainy, shitty, it's storming. Probably hear a little thunder here in a second. So I can't golf, can't do anything outside. I don't know if I'm complaining, because I'm not really. Oh, there's a little thunder. Because that means I get to do a video. So I figured it'd be fun to do a top 10 Super Nintendo games video. So let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. So anyway, like the intro said, yeah, this is going to be a top 10 Super Nintendo games video. You know, it's shitty outside, storming, can't do anything, so let's just do a video. I thought it'd be fun. So I got the idea because the other day in Television Dude put a link to a video, or put a link to a site that had like the top 100 games of all time. And he was talking about doing his own list, and you know, it's kind of like 100 games for any game, like from any system, NES, Genesis, Wii, 360, you know, that's really hard to pick. I don't know that I could do that, but I can do top 10 lists. I can do that. And I thought I'd start with one of my favorite systems ever, and some even call it the best system of all time, and it might be, the Super Nintendo. So before we get going on the list, just keep in mind that this is a list that's mine. This is my top 10, okay? I have not played every Super Nintendo game made. I have not played every game that's probably worthy of being on this list. I have some of them, haven't spent enough time with them for them to warrant being on this list, so keep that in mind when I'm doing the list, and so bear with me. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 10 is Tetris Attack. This is an excellent puzzle game. It's actually made by Nintendo, and you know, really they could have called it anything else, but they put Tetris in it probably just for sales, because it's basically a Mario type game. Well, Yoshi. The characters in this game, completely like Mario. It's sort of got the Yoshi's Island feel to it. Basically, it plays like any standard puzzle game, but you're just swapping two tiles, trying to match up 3 in a row. This is an excellent game, fairly cheap, so if you can get your hands on this one, definitely you won't be disappointed. So number 9 is an excellent game, Super Bomberman 2. This game is so much fun. It's probably my favorite Bomberman game, right up there with Saturn Bomberman. This is just a really fun game. There's I've not really played the multiplayer, which is what it's really known for, but by yourself, this game is a riot, and it actually supports the Super Nintendo adapter, so you can play with 4 people, I believe, which is a pretty cool idea considering the Super Nintendo only has 2 ports. So number 8 is a classic RPG on the Super Nintendo. I know Television Dude really likes this one. It's Super Mario RPG. Now, I haven't spent a ton of time with this game. I have it on the Virtual Console on my Wii, and I also have the physical game itself. And I've probably spent quite a few hours on it. But what I really like about this game, not only is it Mario, but it's rather simple. You know, you don't have to be a hardcore RPG player to really like this game, and that appeals to me because I'm not a very big RPG player myself. So this is great. It's a little hard to find sometimes. People like to charge a lot for it, but it's definitely worth it. It's an excellent game on the Super Nintendo. So number 7 is in one of my favorite series of all time, Contra 3: The Alien Wars. This is so much fun. This is probably my second favorite Contra game, right behind Contra, the original. You know, this one, it's just got great graphics, the sound is great, the gameplay is great. It's probably a little bit harder than the original Contra, but it's certainly easier than like Contra Hardcore. It's definitely easier than that one. And I think it's a little more appealing because it's a little easier. So this is an excellent game, one of my favorites on the Super Nintendo, of course, and one of my favorites in the whole Contra series. So number 6 is part of an excellent trilogy that's on the Super Nintendo, and it's kind of hard to pick one of them, but I guess if I had to pick one, I'd pick the original, and it's Donkey Kong Country. I grew up playing the sequel, Donkey Kong Country 2, which is an excellent game. They're all great. Donkey Kong Country 2 is easily probably, well, I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's definitely really hard. This one's a little easier than the rest. It's still a challenge, but it's easier than the rest. And this is the only one where you get to play as Donkey Kong. The other 2 you play, and the second one you play as Dixie Kong and Diddy Kong, and the third one you play as Dixie Kong and Baby Kong, or I forget his name completely, but something like that. He's like a big baby. He plays like Donkey Kong, but this is the only one where you actually get to play as Donkey Kong. So, I picked this one. You know, it's really, you could pick any of them, but I picked this one just because it's probably the easiest one to pick up and play. So number 5 is cheating a little bit. It's kind of a, I don't know, 5 games in one, and it's Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World all in one cartridge. This game is, I had this as a kid. This is my original copy, actually. And basically it's Super Mario 1, 2, 3, plus the Lost Levels, all redone with updated graphics, and it's excellent. And then to even add icing right on the cake, they released this game again with Super Mario World. This was a pack-in title with one of the Super Nintendo bundles, which makes this one a lot more uncommon than the other one. It's not terribly expensive, but it's a lot harder to find than the original one. And it's certainly the superior version, I'd say. So when you talk about classic beat-em-ups, you know, games like Streets of Rage come to mind, Final Fight. But as far as the Super Nintendo goes, I've never played one that's better than this. Turtles in Time. Well, it's Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. It's sort of a continuation of the of the NES series. This game is so good. This is my favorite beat-em-up without question. As far as beat-em-ups go, they get repetitive for me, but this one is just, it really does it. This is easily my favorite beat-em-up, and one of my favorite games on the system, clearly. So if you have this game, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you need to get it. Okay, so we're coming down to the top 3 here. Now these 3 games are just, they define the Super Nintendo for me. They just do. These 3 games I could play at any time and have a lot of fun. So these are, as far as I go, for me, this is what makes the Super Nintendo one of the best systems of all time. So number 3 is just a masterpiece. Super Castlevania 4. This game takes what you loved about the NES versions and emphasizes it, and takes what you hated about the NES versions and gets rid of it. You know, the control is spot on. You can whip in any direction. You can hold your whip out and sort of jiggle it. That really is helpful in dealing with enemies that move in like that S pattern, the ones that everybody hates. The music is phenomenal. The graphics are great. Just everything about this is excellent. Everything. I love this game. It's one of my favorites of all time. Alright, so we're getting down to the top 2 here. Now this one is odd because it's a sequel, but a lot of people, I don't know, it's very different from its predecessor. And it's Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. In my mind, this is better than the original Super Mario World. You play as Yoshi. Basically, you play as Yoshi with Baby Mario on your back, and you have to try and reunite him with his parents, I believe. This game is so good. It's excellent. Some people don't like it because, you know, you're running around and as soon as you get hit, Baby Mario floats off your back. You have to get him back. But as far as platforming goes, this game is top of the line. I mean, this is my favorite platformer on the system, bar none. So if you haven't checked this game out, certainly do so, and I'd be interested to hear what you think. Okay, so number 1 is, it really wasn't that hard to pick. I mean, it's sort of like a lot of games when people do top 10 lists, it's sort of, you pick nostalgic games. This is not the case here, because this game I did not have as a kid, and I just got it probably a year and a half ago, and I finished it not too long ago, and it was so much fun. It is without a doubt my favorite Super Nintendo game, and it's probably not a surprise to many, but it's The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. You know, I've played and beaten several Zelda games, well, only 3, but they were the 3 best, probably. Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, and this one. And this one still is my favorite. You know, I love them all. I will defend them to the end. They're some of the best games ever made, in my opinion. But this is just the crown jewel. You know what? This game takes hours to beat. It's a long game. It's challenging. But I couldn't put it down. And this is the kind of game that I've beaten, but I will easily start this game over and beat it again. That's just how it is. That's how good it is. So, yeah. If you haven't played this game, play it. If you have played this game, you probably liked it. I'm sure some people don't, but I love this game. This is probably this is my favorite Super Nintendo game, without a doubt. So, get it if you don't have it, and if you do have it, play it again. So that's my top 10 list. Now, just because some games weren't on the list doesn't mean I don't like them. In fact, it's far from it. It's just those are my favorite. I figured I would do sort of some honorable mentions. Some games that weren't in the list that easily could have been. I'm not going to pull them out, I'm just going to name them off. Ninja Gaiden Trilogy is an excellent game. Sparkster on the Super Nintendo is a very good game. Let's see, you got Chrono Trigger is an excellent RPG. Super Punch-Out is a great game. Super Metroid is an excellent game. Earthbound is a great game, though I've never played it. I've only seen some gameplay. That's when I'm going to start. I'm going to play Earthbound. You've got a ton of games on this system. You know, there's a ton of great games on the system, and these just happen to be my personal favorites. So I'd be interested to hear what you thought about my list. I'd be interested even more so to hear your own lists. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, take care.